What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Danmachi. Now, today we're going to be talking about Iris. Now, we know that we're getting in a new crossover, and we'll get some more information on it in the morning, so expect a big news video tomorrow, probably around noon Eastern time, give you guys some more information, at least what we have at that point, about the collab and what it's going to entail. Now, the biggest argument and the biggest thing that I've heard is that, I mean, aside from obviously what franchises is, everybody has their opinions on that. But that aside, these time-limited events, these collab events, tend to be really, really, really good. So you want to make sure you have minimum 8,000 Iris prepared for the inevitable summons that we're going to have to do. Now, to do so, that does mean we're going to have to dip into a few avenues and make sure that we have enough Iris to perform the summons that we need to perform. If you're following along with what I tell you to do, you'll know that my recommendation, I've actually been really bad about it, I did some extra farming before the anniversary, but I've got a few things here, is to have a few things available for farming. Now, unfortunately, my stockpile's a little low and dwindling, and I'm not actually going to do that this time around, but I also have about 6,000 Iris. It's like, I have like 800 paid and like 5,800 free. So, for me, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take advantage of the CP levels in the CP shops and make sure that I basically level my units up and at the same time reap the benefits of those rewards. Now, when I'm talking about this, what I'm talking about, let's just go ahead and do the daily free draw while I discuss this, is we're going to take all the 2 stars, 3 stars, and maybe even not 5 any X's 4 stars. Spoilers, I probably don't unless this pays out, because I actually sold them all yesterday in take 1 of this video. But any of these 2 stars and 3 stars that I acquire here that are excess, I can actually sell and acquire Iris for that. That's the thing. If you're not familiar with this process, I used to cover this at the beginning of every month, and I kind of got lazy about that. But every single month, we have a shop that opens up where you can sell these bonds and buy rewards, which you could buy a different currency, dungeon cake, dungeon sandwiches, things like that. We'll get into what those are here in a moment. And you can literally buy Iris with that currency. So, we didn't get any 4 stars there, but that's actually kind of a good thing, to be honest with you, because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit this little gear icon up at the top. Okay? I'm going to go to inventory, and I'm going to go to bond. Okay? Now, in here are all the 3 stars and 2 stars and even some 4 stars down here that I currently have collected, bonds that I've not used. Now, some of these 4 stars, to be fair, I am going to sell because some of these units are older and I'm never honestly going to upgrade them. But as far as what I can recommend at this juncture for most people is there's a little button up over there that says sell multiple items. Okay? If you click on that, I could even include 4 stars on this, though I can already tell you I'm not going to have any 4 stars to sell. But 2, 3, and 4 stars sell surplus. Surplus is what you want to do. Click sell, and it's going to give me Cereos, which are the white gems over there, and Dolb, which are the black gems, for the for whatever, basically whatever bonds I have that I can sell. Now, I'm going to go from about 1,600 to about 1,700. It's not a huge amount, but like I said, I did this yesterday, so nothing's really surprising there. Now, the ratio at which these are sold, obviously, 2 stars are going to be nowhere near as lucrative as 3 stars or even 4 stars, but just to give you a number here, if I just click 1 bond here, I'm going to go from 720 to 722, so 2 stars are worth about 2 Cereos, okay? 3 stars, let's just go down here a little further. 3 stars, if I just go click sell 1, are worth about 10 Cereos. So, you know, we're getting a little better. And obviously, most people are not going to have 4 stars they want to sell, but if for the sake of argument, you had a few that you're willing to part with, you really don't care, you click sell, okay, add 1 in there. Now you're going to find out that the 4 stars are worth about 50 Cereos, and this is where you get your Dolb from, your 10 Dolb. Now, Dolb isn't really important to what we're going to do today. More than anything else, you're really going to want Cereos. But before you sell 4 stars, make sure they're older 4 stars that you're not going to use, and units that are not going to at some point get rebalances that you're going to regret selling. Now, for me, anything like super old, like 2nd anniversary or older, pretty much fair game. I could sell those. I don't really care. Also, one other thing I do want to mention before we go into this too deeply, because people get mad at me for not saying this. There is a way, beyond what I'm going to show you here, to get real quick, real cheap, and real easy Iris. And that is very simply taking those bonds, this is why I say use surplus, any 2 stars or 3 stars that you have, you can upgrade those units to basically level 76 without any major repercussions, and as long as you take a unit from base stats all the way up, you're going to get 80 Iris per unit that you upgrade. So upgrade a handful of those units, you can have a few hundred Iris just for nothing. And as you can see, I've got quite a few here. Now the one big downside to this, and the one big caveat that I will say, do not take 2 and 3 stars to level 80. Basically, if you want to follow along here, well, that's a 4 star, but it doesn't really matter. Or you can just auto back out. That's fine with me too. Let's just grab, let's grab any unit here. So this bell doesn't matter. Doesn't matter with 2 star, 3 star, 4 star. It's roughly all the same. So if I go to status board, and if I fill all this in, okay, then the next board that comes up is where you're going to use your bonds, your dupes, your duplicates, whatever you want to call them. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots in which I can fill those in. Now, each time you fill one in, it's going to basically give you the opportunity to fill in, let's see, SMAED. Basically, these are little slots for your skill. For your Falna. So you fill it in with Falna, and then you'll have to go to upgrade level and upgrade levels. Here's the big bottom line to this. If you take your units up to level 80, okay, then you are going to miss out on some daily rewards at some point. Maybe not immediately, but at some point you will. The reason I say that is because one of your daily tasks is to do an upgrade in here, be it status board, be it levels, be it whatever. If, when you're doing your status board upgrades, take this belt for example, at least level 76, if I if I were to fill in this spot right here, I'm going to edit that sneeze out. Probably not, though. If I were to fill this in, then I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 Falna slots that I could fill in. That gives me 5 days. Technically 6 for feeding in the dupe, but that gives me basically... See, I was waiting for that. That gives me basically the better part of a week of free updates. And that's not including levels. If I go over here to levels, I can do 1 book at a time and really extend that out like an entire month. So, you have to do something. You have to do some kind of upgrade to get your daily skills. So if you fully max them out to level 80 like today, you're going to miss out. The good news is, your final reward is simply for filling in this bond. So if I fill in the last bond here, I'll get my last 10 Iris. So basically, he's yielded 70 Iris up to now. Filling that in will take him up to 80. Now, I don't really have what I could fill in. I could do a Prism bond, but on a unit like this, it's not worthwhile. But if it were like a 3-star or something like that, then I would probably have it sitting in my bin very easily. Now, that's free and quick and easy Iris. The other thing to consider is with a lot of units that are low leveled, I think we actually mapped this out as anything under level 15, it's actually cheaper to do what I'm going to show you right now. Sirius and Dolb Exchange. In the Sirius and Dolb Exchange, you can buy dungeon cakes, dungeon sandwiches, books of nobility, books of knowledge, big bouquets, single flowers, and Arario souvenirs. Now, souvenirs are only for crossover units, and I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get a ton of these coming up here really soon. They're one of the first things I always do, because they're really hard to come by, and they're the only things that can upgrade collab units. But, well, I guess technically you could with these, but these are a lot more lucrative, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in a moment. Let's just, for the sake of argument, see if we could buy up all these dungeon cakes. And the reason that I do that is just because dungeon cakes and dungeon sandwiches seem to be the most prevalent CP reward. But if I go back out here, go to character, go to character list, this is going to list all of the characters I have in the game. And if I go all the way down to the bottom here, I'm going to have some of our newer units. Now, I actually haven't upgraded these because I've been holding off on these for just such an occasion. Any unit that's very, very new like this is going to be extremely cheap to upgrade. Take Epimetheus here, for example. So if I click offer present, he doesn't want dungeon sandwiches, he wants single flowers or big bouquets. Notice that the single flower gives me 200 CP, the big bouquet gives me 400. But if I look at books of knowledge and dungeon sandwiches, those are only 100, but the single flower has a little heart next to it. If I go back out here, let's go to Vesta for the sake of argument. Actually, no, I'll go to Prometheus, because I think Prometheus will want something different. Prometheus wants the Book of Knowledge. Now, the Book of Knowledge is 200, the single flower is 100, but I thought the bouquet was 400. Yeah, check this out. Book of Nobility is now 400. So, Dungeon Sandwich has the Dungeon Cake that we bought as its big item. Book of Knowledge, Book of Nobility, single flower, big bouquet. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So, with whatever your, basically whatever your unit that you're going to feed in here, whatever they prefer, whatever it has that little heart icon, is basically going to double the score. So it's super lucrative, super worthwhile to pay close attention to this. So if I go ahead and feed her up here, and I'm just going to give her an arbitrary number. I don't really know or care what I'm going to go after here, but I'm just going to give her full 99. Remember, she was level 5. Took her up to level 24. Okay, what do we get for that? If I click CP reward list, it's going to give me a list here. 10 agility, 5 iris, 8 dex, 5 more iris, 50 HP, 5 more iris. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 100 iris. 100 iris is roughly about what I acquired for those upgrades. Actually, I could be wrong. I may have counted a few over. But more or less, I've gotten a significant amount of iris just for doing a few upgrades on Prometheus. The other half to consider here, not only do you get the rewards there, if I go into guild here, it's going to give me level up to, it says CP 35 times 10, 15, 20. Every 5th level that you do in here, notice it says 10, 15, 20, so on and so forth. So level 35 times 10, level 33 times 15, 32 times 20. When I get another 35 times 15, it'll give me another 10 iris. So I got even more iris in here. So there's tons and tons and tons of ways you can get iris just for upgrading units. Literally got 70 more iris right there. Upgrading units is the quickest, fastest, and easiest way to farm iris. So you want to take advantage of this. And don't forget to check the total tab here in your guild rewards, because that's going to give you even more. Look at that. So much more in here. Now, is it worthwhile to do the 80 iris for the upgrades or to come in here and get these rewards? Well, like I said before, I believe anything under level 15, it's more lucrative to do it through what I just showed you. Anything over level 15, I do believe in my heart of hearts that doing the other upgrades is a little bit more lucrative. Though, to be fair, as you are upgrading these units, you're also upgrading all of your units in your bin. So when it comes to, let's just go back here to the character list. Let's say Haruhime for the sake of argument. She's my biggest, she's my tallest. Also, check this out. So we gave who do we give it to? Prometheus, I think. We gave Prometheus 99 of the items. Check out what happens if I give Haruhime 99 of her items. Okay, she wants books of knowledge as well. And it goes to 147. That isn't even going to take her up another level. So, and I should do it. Yeah, I'll do it. Whatever. Oh, actually it did. It took her up 2 levels. I'm a little shocked by that. But notice it took Prometheus up like 20 something levels. It only took her up 2. The more, say the more higher, the higher the number here, the more rewards you're going to need to basically blow, like I kind of did there with Haruhime, in order to get more rewards. And if I'm honest here, anything over level 38 is kind of a vanity reward. 39 gives you a little bit of MP, but anything over 38 is kind of a vanity reward, is not really necessary. 39 would be MP and would be another decent reward. Everything after that is like Ascension Fall, more Iris, things like that. Each unit has 150 Iris they could farm up per one of these levels. And here's the fun part. If you notice it said Leafia before, and here's Belle, if I click this little kind of refresh icon up here at the top, it goes to the eyes list. And if I go over here to character list, you notice the numbers are a little bit different. Now 48 is still there, but my levels were a little bit lower, and a couple of these units were a little bit different. There are 3 different CP reward lists: Belle, Leafia, and Eyes. So you want to farm all 3, and they're cumulative. So all these CP rewards, agility, dex, HP, all that stuff, it compounds, and it always adds on to the unit. So every Haruhime unit in this game that I have has all of those rewards applied to her. So if I want to kind of give you an example of that, let's go here to album, and let's pull up Haruhime's base numbers. Let's just grab the OG, the original. There she is. Fire Haruhime. Okay, let's max her out. So here are her stats. Pay attention to HP, 3440. Pay attention to magic, 1647. Those are the big ones, but all the numbers will change. 3440, 1647. If I go here into enhance level status and sort this by Haruhime's again, and I grab the OG Fire Haruhime, notice the numbers. Okay, 3770 now and 1793. My numbers are a lot higher. CP rewards are major upgrades for all your units. So not only are you farming Iris, you're also making your units that much stronger. It is something you want to do, something you want to take advantage of, and it's a really smart way to get some Iris for the upcoming collab very, very, very quickly. So go take advantage of this, guys. There's probably a ton of Iris in there that you could farm up in no time. Not to mention, things I haven't mentioned that are easy ways to farm Iris. This screen right here. There are character stories. There are outfits you can look at. There's all kinds of stuff. Stories, outfits, all that kind of stuff. Those will give Iris rewards. Obviously, the new story elements will give you Iris rewards. There's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of ways to get Iris. Not to mention War Game, which is running right now, and Record Buster, which will be back here on Wednesday. So there's lots and lots and lots of ways to get some rewards. Make sure you're doing this. Make sure you're diligent. You should easily be able to acquire at least the 4,000 needed for at least one of the banners in no time whatsoever. Take advantage of this. Don't go crazy on this, but definitely remember that every single month, the beginning of every month, the Sirius and Dolb exchange does reset. So you will want to make sure that you spend everything you can in here. Buy up all of this stuff, or at least as much as possible, before the end of the month, because then when it's gone, it resets, and you'll have to do it all over. Also, there's tickets up here, but if, in my honest opinion, we're getting so many summons right now, focus on this, get your Iris, and then after you do your summons on the other banners, you can go in here and buy these tickets. Those are kind of erroneous at the moment. You would be better off to get the Iris rewards so that you can get summons on the time-limited banners incoming. That's going to be the video, guys. Like, comment, share all the good stuff. I'll be back with more helpful hints and tips here for you guys really soon.